In this video, I'm going to show you how I painted this dove of peace in watercolor, so let's get started. I'm using cold press watercolor paper for this project. It's Fabriano paper, and I'm starting with wetting the entire background, and I'm using some warm New Gamboge yellow right here in this corner area. This will be the lightest area, and the other colors will radiate around that. It's important to use a good quality 100% cotton paper for this. It just stays wet longer, and you need that in order to have enough time to create these seamless, soft blended washes in the background. Now around that yellow, I'm using some quinacridone Gold Deep. It's a really nice goldish color. This is one of my longer format videos where I show more of the brush strokes and less editing of the footage. Let me know in the comments if you like this. I have gotten some positive response on some of my other bird painting videos, but I always want to find out if this is what you're looking for. So please let me know in the comments if you like these longer videos. I also wanted to let you know about my new watercolor tips and techniques e-guide that I have available on my website. You can just go to createwithaura.com/free, and right from there you can sign up to get this guide as well as the accompanying video that demonstrates the techniques and access to my line art gallery, which has a lot of the line art from several of my watercolor videos that you can print and trace and paint along. I'll also have the link to all of this in the video description as well, but you can go to createwithaura.com/free. So the color I'm using here is quinacridone Rose. It's a nice cool red, and I'm letting it blend right into the quinacridone Gold. If it's easier for you, you can mask the dove and not have to worry about getting any paint on it, and you can also paint the background a bit more quickly that way. It is a bit of a challenge to keep the paper wet and workable while still trying to be careful at the same time. I'm adding a little bit more of that quinacridone Gold here, just to have a bit more of a separation between the magenta, or I should say the rose. The rose is a magenta color, between that and the yellow. Now I'm adding quinacridone purple. I'm letting it blend into the pink, and I'm trying not to let too much blend into the quinacridone gold because it will not make the most pretty color. So you want to avoid mud by using a common color to separate the purple from the gold, which is why I used some rose. Again, just using the tip of my brush to get in between those little feather details. I could be using a smaller brush for this, but I didn't want to use a completely new brush when I have enough paint on this one, and I felt confident that I could get the level of control that I needed with the tip of this brush. On the corner here, I'm adding some Indanthrone blue just to deepen that color. And now you can see how important it is that that paper stays wet for as long as it does. Now adding a bit more rose here and there to deepen the color and to help the blend. And because I want to encourage an abstract background, I'm adding some pure water drops to help disperse that paint and create subtle blooms and texture. Now the background is completely dry and I can start on painting the dove. I'm just going to paint one section at a time. In this case, I'm painting the wing, and I'm painting carefully around that leaf or that stem. And I'm going to use the same colors that are in the background. It's important when you're painting a white subject to use some of the surrounding colors to make it more cohesive and have color harmony, and just to add some depth to the white subject itself. So I'm painting right under the top of that wing area where there's a little bit of a ridge, so it casts a shadow. So that's where I'm concentrating this purple on the wing there. And while the wing's still damp, I can add these little feather separations using the tip of my brush. And it'll slightly bend, but still keep some definition between the feathers. It's all about timing the wetness of the paper. If it's too wet, it'll flow too much, as you can see in some of these areas. And if it's too dry, it'll just look like you're painting on dry paper and you won't have that softness. And I really wanted this to be a soft, ethereal feeling in this painting. And now I'm adding a bit of that same yellow, the new gamboge, adding it along the top of the wing here, and then a little bit along the bottom of the feathers. And moving on to the next wing and doing pretty much the same thing. It'll be a little easier because I don't have that branch that I need to paint around. Again, I pre-painted the wing just with water so I can have these nice soft transitions of color. And now I'll paint the main body of the dove, and again, wetting it with pure water. Then I'll go in with those same colors, and I'll concentrate the darker color where the shadows would be on the bird. I'm painting the eye using indigo. I prefer to use these pre-mixed, or I should say, darks that I mix myself versus black from the tube, as too black tends to look lifeless. And for the beak, I used more quinacridone gold. Now for the stem, I'm using pure gold ink, and I think it really adds a nice shiny element to the composition. I mixed my gold and purple to create this darker brown color to paint in the little feet and also some shadow for the beak. And now I'm using a stiff brush. This is an acrylic brush, and I'm using it to subtly lift some of that color along the edges of the feathers. Again, I wanted it to look a little softer and make the bird look more like part of the background. And since the colors I'm using in the background lift fairly easily, I thought this would be a good way to create that effect of the bird and the background kind of coming together as one and giving that really soft, ethereal effect. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more watercolor tips and techniques videos. Your comments and thumbs up and feedback really help small channels like mine to reach a larger audience, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.